comment, like, and subscribe. Now moving on to the next issue, which is the transmission I broke. This is the T5. Third gear's broke in it. Just rebuilt last year, so if I put third gear in it, it'd probably be fine to use for something else, just not in this car. This is his replacement. This is the upgraded Tremec TKX Bad Boy 5-speed, which is designed to handle like 700 foot-pounds of torque and high RPM shifting, like over 7,000 RPM shifting, which I'll never see in this car. To get it to fit in the car, you do have to get a tremec specific bell housing for the TK line, TKO, TKX that's here. This is a slip yoke that's going to go to the front of my drive shaft, because the drive shaft has a 28 spline. I need a 31 to match the transmission. So literally I'll pop these off, pull this off, and replace it with the other one. Pretty straightforward. And then this is just the ball that goes inside here for your clutch fork to ride on. But that shifter comes with it. Some people change it. I'm going to run it just because it comes with the transmission. I don't feel like spending another $400 for a different shifter. I think it'll be fine. A lot of people claim that that's a really good shifter. And before I do much, I got to get out of the case, and they tell you in the instructions, due to shipping, make sure you can spin it, put it in gear. If it won't turn easily, let them know right away before you start doing anything with it. So I'm going to try that out real quick. This is just all the packing material. But yeah, this is the new replacement, and this thing should be awesome. By comparison, I had to get a new clutch because this is a 26 spline input, and I got a Centerforce dual friction clutch single disc. That's what I used to run back in the day on my 10-second Fox body, so we're doing it again. We're just taking that old technology and use it. It's still good, nothing wrong with it. Just got my new clutch in. This is a Centerforce dual friction clutch for this car, and you'll notice you got it all bolted on here so it don't slide around transit. That is a 26 spline input shaft. You get a nice tool to go with it. They even give you a release bearing, which I don't use anything but forward. And they give you the bolts that you use to tighten it down. So this is going to replace the McLeod Street Pro. This is rated for higher foot-pounds of torque, which will match the TKX transmission and keep up with this car with the power it's going to make. So I've got the clutch fork out and undone, starter off, just remove all the bolts off the bell housing. And now I'm going to literally pull the bell housing off so I can get to the clutch and remove it. As you can tell by this drip on the floor and by right here, my rear seal is leaking again. So I had a brand new seal on it from Felpro, which is normally good and it fixes it, but it still leaks. So now I've got this repair kit coming from Late Model Restoration. It's a metal sleeve that goes within the crank and then your seal. And that's supposed to fix if there's any grooves in the end of the crankshaft where it's leaking even with a new seal. That should fix it, because one thing I can't stand is an oil leak. Okay, here's some more parts for the transmission swap. This is a Stifler's Crossmember, specific to putting a TKX in your Fox body. Part number TCB-M09. And with that, you need to get this transmount adapter, which is TM-M02. Looks like this. And you need to get this mount, which is a GM transmission mount 31108. There's that. So all this goes together to mount your TKX in the car. And I'll show you. This is the bell housing. And why do you need a different bell housing? Because right here, to mount it, it's a lot wider. A T5 is closer in here, as you can see right there, and the TKX, TKO are wider. So then you had to get different bolts because the bolts I had didn't work. And here's where they are. I went to my local hardware store. I got these. These are 7/16 by 1.5. And I got some 7/16 lock washers to go with those, and it allows these 4 mounting spots here to bolt to that new bell housing. All right, so it's raining today. I got my rear crank seal repair kit. It's a Timken, part number right there. And what comes in the kit is this is the replacement part here. And this is the install kit. And what happens, it goes over like this, and then you hammer it onto the crankshaft. How do you do that, you say? Well, you bring this over here. You remove the old seal. This goes on like this. You try to center it. Then you take your tool, put it on here, and go all the way around evenly like you're putting the seal in. You want to drive this down till this flange is flat against the back of the crankshaft. And now what we've done is we fixed, if there's any grooves in here, which is causing me to have an oil leak and the new seal still leak, this will fix that, give me a nice smooth surface with the new seal I have, by the way. Which this time, instead of Felpro, I just went and got the Ford seal. So now I've got a Ford stock replacement seal to go on it. And this kit, I'm gonna put it on and hopefully end all oil leaks in my oil pan. So just a little tip, if you change seals and still have a leak, you probably need this. You can get it from Late Model Restoration. So that was easy. Just get this as even as possible. And you take a rubber hammer and tap it on, and that's what it looks like when everything's in place. Hardly even noticeable, but you can see here. And then we're gonna put our new seal on. You'll notice there's a front and back. The cutouts there go toward the engine, and the smooth goes to the back of the engine. So just like this, same kind of thing. I'm gonna put it on, drive it on home. Okay, and just that quick, we have our repair sleeve on there. You can kind of see the outline there. And we have our new Ford rear main seal. Just take a little engine oil and rub around the seal on the inside and outside just to help you get it on there. Tap it down. I use a punch that fits right in between the block and the crank. Tap it down even all the way around, and you're good to go. When it's flush all the way around, you know you're at your right spot. Now I'll just wipe this off, clean it up, put my engine plate on, and then my flywheel, tighten it all down, put on the new clutch. All right, so the little trim plate is on here between the motor and the transmission. The flywheel's on with the bolts torqued down with some blue Loctite on them. Check your vehicle for specs on how your flywheel should be torqued, what sequence and how tight. Now that's on, and you're ready to put the clutch on. And here's the blue Loctite thread locker they recommend. All right, so take some brake cleaner and a clean shop rag. Come in here and spray off your flywheel. Wipe it all down. You'll notice mine's used, not that many miles on it, a few little hot spots, but it's fine. Then you take your brand new clutch disc and installation tool, put it in like this. Make sure you identify which side is flywheel side, which is easy on this one. Basically put your clutch up in here, put it up against it like that, just to hold it in place. Sorry, I guess I was pointing for. Put it in here so you can hold it in place with your tool. It goes through the pilot bearing there. That just holds it up till you can get your clutch cover. And you're gonna put that up here on these studs, and then you'll put the screws in it. Once that's in, then you'll do a sequence of tightening it down per whatever your clutch manufacturer is. Typically around 25 foot-pounds, but check your manual or your clutch. And then that'll be on here, and that will be ready. Then we can put on the bell housing. All right, on mine, it said 23 to 25 foot-pounds. So what I did was I went 15 foot-pounds first, and then 20, and then 25. Star pattern. What you want to make sure is your alignment tool goes in and out smoothly, like that, which means the input of your transmission should go in just as smoothly. All right, so we're ready to go. And one thing to keep in mind, you put this in, you want to try to center as much as you can when you tighten these up. And if it's not centered, it might make it difficult to get the input shaft in. So try to get as centered as you can all the way around, and then make sure it slides in and out. Just a little trick for you get too far and you wonder why your transmission won't fall into place. All right, I'm gonna show you a couple of tricks of mine. One is put a pole jack under your balancer. And the reason you want to do that, you want to push the motor back. If you're like me and got these BBK long tube headers, your bell housing just don't want to go in. But what happens if you tilt the motor back, the headers come down, you get more room to kind of manipulate the bell housing, twist it and turn it, pop it up in there. Once you have it in, hand tighten your screws. The two short ones go at the top, the longer ones go on each side. And then once they're hand tight, go ahead and put your clutch cable through over there. Put your clutch fork in. You actually put the whole thing with the release bearing in through this side, get it in, fork in, it goes in through the side here with the release bearing on it. Make sure the release bearing's on top of the fingers. See how the fingers are under it, kind of holding it up? And then in here, your clutch fork pivot stud, make sure it's in between the spring like that. and then you're good to go. And before you get too far, I've already have my cable adjusted, so as a trick, I just wedge this down and pop the cable off through here. So it's already adjusted from other clutch. And what you want to make sure is that the arm is at least halfway your back when it's engaged. That gives you enough leverage to release the clutch. A lot of times if it's further down here, you need an adjustable clutch pivot stud back there to make it longer, so it gives you offset this way. But this clutch may be a little tight from where the McLeod was. Might have to loosen this a little bit. I think they like a 1/4 to a 1/4 inch air gap on it, but we'll see how I feel. I've got a firewall adjuster, I can adjust it up there, but that is adjusted. And then what we do is we go in here and we move this around and we try to line up the release bearing and all. So when I go to put the transmission in, it's got a straight shot right through the release bearing, through the clutch disc, and into the back of the motor and the pilot bearing. All right, when you're setting your stifler's cross member, I found it best to take the spacers and put them toward the front and slide the arm all the way to the back where the arm's up against your mount. That puts these studs to the front of here, but the reason is it clears your speedo cable. See there, you just got a little bit of room between the speedo cable. If you have this forward, it puts that in a bind, so we don't want that to happen. So right now, everything will line up here. I'm gonna take it back down, put the spacers on and the bolts in it in here, and this is the adapter. So that's the mount and then the adapter all together, and that allows it to sit there at the right angle. Before I do that, I'll lower it down, tighten all my bolts one more time, make sure everything's good to go, and now I'll put this in for the final time. But you'll notice I've already pulled the plug out the side, put my speedo cable in here, and I had to use my bolt because it's a 10mm head. There's 11 and it hits, but I had to put 2 flat washers on here and turn the mount upside down because that arm was sticking down. So other than that, everything in there is good to go. I did put my yoke in here just so I could turn the transmission. As I was getting it in there, it was getting stuck, so I took this and rotated it while it was in gear, and it popped right in, no problem. And if yours is like mine and brand new, it's probably tight, so get it real close, get the bolts to help you get it started, and then put a pole jack on the back so it's even, and start tightening the bolts evenly. It'll sink right up, no problem, without breaking anything. You don't want to break the ears off your transmission. So we're real close right now to getting it bolted up, so I can put the fluid in it, put this yoke on, slip yoke on the drive shaft, and we're ready to go. All right, and to fill it up, here's a great choice. The AC Delco Synchro Mesh, which is a 75 weighty gear oil, but Synchro Mesh is recommended in the instructions. And I filled it up, I was waiting for it to come out, all of a sudden I looked and it's leaking out my tail shaft because I don't have the drive shaft in it. So basically I got my catch pan, you let it level out till it finishes. I've already put my plug back in, so we're good to go. It takes just under 3 quarts to fill this thing up. It's like 2.7. But anyway, that's what you need. Get you 3 of those, fill it up, and then you'll be good to go. Now, everything's in here. Check out this Stifler's mount. Looks great. I did 1 spacer in here because I didn't want to be too tight touching the floor up there. So all this is good. Everything's in, plenty of room. I'll put some zip ties here, just keep that cable. O2s are up, gotta get my wideband hooked in when I do my mid pipe. But right now, I've got to take my drive shaft and I've got to put this slip yoke in place of this one. So I'm gonna switch that real quick and we'll be on our way. Look how much longer that is. Wow, right? Okay, but that's it. I did notice this shifter sits a lot closer to the passenger side. So I put my Pro 50 handle, which turns it over a little bit, and it's still, I don't know, I just like it a little closer. So they make blocks you can get and move the shift handle over, so I might do that. Short of getting a different shifter, I'd rather try to make this one work, but it is real firm and short throw. So we'll see how I like it. If I don't like it, I'll move it over a little bit more. All right, other than I don't like the shifters toward the middle in second gear, and I've got the clutch adjusted, but I shouldn't have touched it from my McLeod. It's releasing right on the very bottom where I don't like it. I want it releasing more about 2/3 of the way up. So I'll adjust that when I get back. But it is going every gear. Reverse lights work, neutral safety works. Just gonna go put some easy miles on it, try to break in this new clutch. Just easy cruising. Yeah, I don't like how it's so far over to that side, so I'm gonna have to space that over and make it easier, more ergonomically comfortable. But it's running, speedo's working, everything's great. after our successful test drive, we'll just come in here and look. 0 leaks on the transmission or the tail shaft seal there. The big thing here, 0 leaks at the back of the pan or the rear seal. Yes. But the good news is everything looks great because I did a little test drive. I'll go back and make sure all my bolts are tight. Just, you know, and then I need to tighten up my clutch cable a little bit. I'm just gonna adjust it up at the firewall and then we will be good to go. But everything did really well. Don't mind my hacked up mid pipe there. I've got a fancy new H pipe being built and coming for it. It's gonna replace that. Alright, so to cap off this video, the transmission shifting buttery smooth. The Centerforce dual friction clutch is awesome. It's just barely slightly more pressure to push it down than the McLeod Street Pro was, which is pretty much acceptable. Really nice clutch, super smooth, no chatter, awesome clutch. The transmission shifts beautifully. It's got a really strong spring in it, so when you go from second to third, it actually helps you go to third. The problem is when you want to go to fifth, you really got to push it a little harder than like your T5 to get it up to fifth, but I'm sure it might wear in a little bit later on. As I mentioned, I don't like the shifter position. It's more centered. It's not close to you, even with my Pro 5.0 handle. So I'm gonna get some longer bolts and make some blocks that actually puts the shifter about 1 inch closer to the driver's side. And we'll see how that goes. Maybe they make some adjustable shift handles I can get forward something later on. But for now, transmission's doing beautiful. Rear seal's fixed, no more leaks. I'm really happy with it. I'm still working on the other video about switching this thing to a Holly. I've had a lot of issues for the last 2 weeks I've been diagnosing, but I'll get into all that later, and then we'll talk about how it runs with a Holly on it. But for now, it's got a new TKX to replace the broken T5, and it's a really nice transmission. So if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.